Welcome students. Today our topic is for Coulomb's law, and in this class we will study about statements of Coulomb's law, and then we will go for mathematical form. After mathematical form we will discuss about the value of k, which is called constant, and constant of proportionality, and what the factor this value of k depends, and then we will move up to the permittivity of the space, free space, relative permittivity, and permittivity of vacuum. Then we will study about the unit of charges and what are the limitations of Coulomb's law. Then we will discuss about vector form of Coulomb's law. Now, let's start from the first statement. The statement of this law is that the magnitude of the force between two stationary point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them and act along the lines joining the two charges. And keeping in mind how many charges are considered, two stationary charges are considered, because it, the chapter in which we are studying Coulomb's law is basically electrostatics, and we study charges at rest. So according to the statement, we have to find out the mathematical form of the Coulomb's law, and mathematical form is that the force of attraction is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of charges q1 and q2, and on the basis of the statement of Coulomb's law, this force is directly proportional to q1 and q2. This is equation 1. And now if you look at the other portion of this law, that is 2 inversely proportional to the square of the distance. This force is basically inversely proportional to the square of the distance between two electric charges, that is F inversely proportional to 1 over R square. When we combine these two equations, that is F directly proportional to Q1 and Q2, number 2 F inversely proportional to 1 over R square, then we get the first one. As you see, it is F directly proportional to Q1 and Q2 divided by R square. This formula is calculated by using combining equation 1 and 2. If you look up to the next equation, that is F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square, and this K is basically called constant of proportionality, and the value of this K depends on the systems of units used, number 1, and number 2, the medium between the charges. If you look at the value of K, this K is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, and its value is 9 multiply 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. If you look back in equation 1, and you write down the units of all physical quantities, that is force, charges 2 times, and the square of the distance, then you will be getting the same unit of this K. Here, epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space or static permittivity, and it is defined as property of a medium which affects the magnitude of force between 2 point charges, and its value is 8.85 multiply 10 raised to minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton per meter square. As I have discussed earlier, we have started from the statement of this law, then we have calculated formula, and this formula is used to calculate force between two charges. This force may be force of attraction, or this force may be force of repulsion. And this R is basically following inverse scale law. Inverse scale law is that if you hold a torch in front of a screen. And if you have a distance of 1 meter, you will calculate the intensity of the area of the light spot formed on the screen. And if you increase the distance of torch and the screen by 1 more meter, that is 2 times, then you will see that the size of the light shadow formed will increase square of the 2, that is 4 times. So this is the reason why in this case the force decreases by the same factor. Means in case of light the intensity decreases, but in case of force uh, between the two charges, it decreases by the same factor, that is square. Now moving for the next. It is epsilon naught, that is 8.85 multiplied 10 to the power minus 12 coulomb square per Newton per meter square. And you put the values in this equation, equation 1, that is F is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square. This one is equation 2, and this is basically the final equation of the Coulomb's law, which is used to calculate the force between the two charges. In any case, if a numerical is given, you will be given the values of two charges and the distance between the two charges. You will be asked to calculate the force between the two charges, and the value of epsilon naught is already given. So how will you define, by keeping in mind this equation, how will you define a unit charge, unit of charge, that is coulomb? If you put the value of force 1 Newton and you keep the distance between the two charges, that is 1 meter, and define 1 coulomb charge, you will define 1 coulomb is defined as the charge which, when placed at a rest at a distance of 1 meter in air or vacuum from an equal and similar charge, repels or attracts it with a force of 9 multiplied 10 to the power 9 Newton. Basically, this is the value of 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay. The next point is, what are the limitations of Coulomb's law? Limitations are two. That is, it is applicable in case of point or localized charges. Number two is, it is applicable only, or it can be applied if the charges are stationary or the charges are considered at rest. So our next topic is that, what is the vector form of Coulomb's law? Vector form of Coulomb's law is that, because there are two charges Q1 and Q2, similar case will be according to Newton's third law of motion. If charge Q1 is applying force on charge 2, Q2, then of course it will be action of charge 1 on charge 2. Similarly, charge 2 will be applying a force on Q2, will be applying on charge Q1 as a reaction force. So if these two charges have a distance at between them and a vector is used, that is R, this unit vector shows the direction of the force when it is acting from charge 1 Q1 to Q2, or its action, or if it is acting from charge Q2 on charge Q1. And this R12 with cap shows the direction of the force acting between the two charges. If you look at equation 3 clearly shows that F21 means that the charge, this F21 means that the charge Q1 is applying a force on charge 2, and it is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square. And this R has a cap which shows that R12 means the direction of this force is from force 1 to 2. Similarly, when charge Q2 is applying on charge Q1, that force is calculated by using a formula which is mentioned in equation number 4. It is F12, means charge Q is applying force on charge 1, and it is equal to F F is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 divided by R square. And the unit vector shows that the direction is from charge Q2 to Q1. And if you see the second one, this shows that the direction is from charge Q2 to charge Q1. And this is the same. If you see, this 2 means charge Q2 is applying force and 1 means on charge 1. Similarly, from figure, we can see that these two vectors are equal but opposite in direction. 1, 2 means direction of the force from charge 1 to charge 2, and 2, 1 means direction of the force from charge 2 to 1. And it is the similar case. The forces, of course, will be opposite but equal in magnitude. Up to this class, students, we have studied about first, we have studied about Coulomb's law. We have studied about statement of the Coulomb's law. Then we have considered the mathematical forms of the Coulomb's law by forming two equations, by keeping in mind the statement on the basis of statement of the Coulomb's law. Force is directly proportional to product of charges, and this force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two charges. Then we have combined these two equations together. We are getting F directly proportional to Q1 and Q2 divided by R square. Then we have replaced the value of constant, proportionality constant, that is K, and it becomes F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Then we have written the value of, we have discussed the value of constant. On what the factor it depends. It depends upon the system of units used, and the number 2 is the medium between the two charges. And then we have written the value of K, that is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, and numerical value is 9 multiplied 10 to the power 9, and the units of the force, distance, and the charges. Finally, we have written the value of permittivity, and the value of permittivity of free space is, that is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton per meter. Then we moved up to the value of K. By putting the value of K in the equation, we have calculated force, and we have written final formula to calculate the force. When permittivity of free space value is given and the value of charges are given, the distance between the charges is given, then we can calculate the force acting between the two charges. Now, on the basis of same equation, we have defined unit of charge. Then we have discussed at the end the condition for the law. What are the condition? This force is applicable, it is calculated, or the Coulomb's law have some limitation, that is, it is used only for point charges. Number 2, it is used for stationary charges. The next question which we have covered today, the last one, that is how to write down, how to how to present the Coulomb's law in the vectors form. In vectors form, we are concerned with which force is acting on which charge. 1 is applying force on charge 2, that is F21, and the direction is from 1 to 2. Unit vector shows in equation 3. For equation 4, charge 2 is applying as a reaction on charge 1 force, and it is written as in equation 4, that is F12, it is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square. And then the unit vector which shows the direction of the force from charge 2 to 1, that is 2, 1. And on the basis of these two equations, we can say that if one is action, that is F21, the other one will be F12, and that is reaction. These two are equal but opposite in direction. So after comparing these three equations, we are getting F12, that is equal to minus F21, and this is the final equation. And it is in accordance with Newton's third law of motion. Thank you all.